NCCER Intermediate Rigging Ed. 3 Intermediate Rig. Derate. The process of reducing the working load limit of a sling according to standard rules to account for the large stresses that exist in a sling when used in certain applications. When inverting a load on its side with a single hoist, always lift from an anchorage point above the load CG. Tuggers. Motorized or engine-powered winches designed to replace manpower to pull the rope used for lifting or moving equipment. Which of the listed items would a rigger use mainly for vertical positioning of a heavy piece of equipment? Bottle jack. Which of the following is a true statement about inverting a load with two hoists? At one point, a single hoist will need to carry the load. Working load limit, WLL. The weight capacity a manufacturer certifies a rigging component can lift under stated conditions. The standard sling _________ is provided for a vertical hitch. Riggers will typically apply standard rules to derate _______ when slings are used in other configurations. When there is an even number of parts of line to be reeved on a block and tackle, the end of the rope will terminate at the upper block. When drifting a load and maintaining the same relative elevation throughout the task, the smallest sling angles are formed by either hoist at both the beginning and the end. Center of gravity, CG. The point where an object's mass, and therefore its weight, is concentrated. The concept is useful for determining stability, the balance point, and leverage. D/D ratio. For rope, like slings used in hitches that wrap around the load, the ratio of the diameter of the load to the diameter of the rope. Manufacturers establish minimum to avoid overstressing the sling with a bend that is too sharp. What precaution must a rigger observe when using the dual sling bridle formula WLL equals 2W plus SAF? Both slings must support the load equally. Choke angle. The outside angle between the vertical part of a choker hitch and the part of the sling passing through the eye, hook, or shackle forming the choke. On a block and tackle, the line you pull to lift an object is referred to as the hauling line. Sling angle. The angle formed between the sling and the horizontal when under tension. When planning to drift a load between two hoists, if the distance between the anchorage and the load connection is half or less than the distance between the two hoists, the sling angle will be less than 30 degrees. Anchorage point. A point used to fix the position of a block or other type of hoist or pulling device. Must be able to easily handle the load weights and line pulls associated with any sling angle imposed on it, without fear of failure. A braided wire rope sling used in a choker hitch has a vertical hitch WLL of 1,000 pounds. Determine its WLL at a choke angle of 100 degrees. 870 pounds. Sling angle factor, SAF. A factor that permits calculating the tension in a sling supporting a known load at an angle equal to the length of the sling between its bearing points divided by the vertical distance between those points. The length of a sling is the distance between the load-bearing points at each end. Refer to figure RQ01. Determine the tension on sling S. Assign the variable of T, at point 2, using the provided equation. Round your answer up to the nearest whole number. 679 pounds. Considering where the CG is for a load to be inverted using a single hoist helps to determine C. Where to attach the hoist to the load. Invert. To move a load from the horizontal position, for example, to any other position, such as over on its side, vertical on its end, or fully inverted to lie on its top. On a block and tackle, what is the line pull required to lift an object weighing 400 pounds with 3 parts of line reeved? Round your answer to the nearest whole number. 134 pounds. Drifting. The process of moving a load later ally through the air, using multiple hoists and transferring the load weight from one hoist to another. When skidding a 3,500-pound concrete runoff holding tank on level oak skids, what would be a reasonable estimate for the line pull required to move the load over the skids? B. 1,575 pounds. Hitch. Any method of attaching a sling to a load. Common _______________ include vertical, bridle, basket, and choker. Which equipment used to move a load laterally over a level concrete surface should require the smallest line pull? Skids. Coefficient of friction, CF. A ratio that expresses a comparison between the force necessary to move an object over the surface of an other material, and the pressure between the two materials.